Welcome back to our one pose a day for 100 days. Today's practice is called intense side stretch or Padottanasana. Really great for opening the backs of the hamstrings, the legs, lengthening the spine. I might recommend to do a little warm-up practice first, get the body warmed up, circulation flowing, and then maybe going to, I believe it's day 3, in practicing the big toe hold again to help get the hamstrings maybe a little bit more open. Now, optional props would be a chair and blocks, and I'll demonstrate those. So let's get started. Start with your arms out to the side, nice mountain pose. Take a nice inhale, draw your palms overhead. Exhale, lower. Let's do a few more, adding the head, looking up towards your hands. As you exhale, chin to chest, letting go of everything else today, allowing yourself to arrive to this one pose practice. Let's take one more nice full breath, palms overhead. As you exhale, bring the palms together and down. Okay, as we've done in the past, I'm going to demonstrate first and then we'll practice together after you decide which piece of equipment you'd like to use. Having a hard time today. If you know you're going to go straight to the blocks, you can fast forward, skip through the chair demonstration, although it's really good for practice, especially if you're having a few issues with the hamstrings, starting a little bit higher off the floor. So I'm going to show both the back of the chair as well as the seat of the chair. So we can face the back of the chair, and I'll step my right foot forward with my toes a bit under the back of the chair, and my left foot straight back with the heel down and the foot slightly turned out, just like you would do for Warrior One pose. Now, we don't want to be too far from the chair seat, but give ourselves some space for sure so that we can use the back of the chair to fold forward. Things to consider for everyone in intense stretch pose is you would like to have your hips nice and parallel to the chair or the top of your mat. So sometimes you want to think about that right hip or the hip with the leg stepping forward, rolling back, and the opposite hip rolling forward. Another thing is we want to avoid hyperextending the knee. So press through the big toe mound of that forward foot. Have a little bit of softness in your knee, even though we like to keep the leg straight. So if we can fold forward quite a bit without keeping the leg straight, just pause wherever you're at. So we'll demonstrate using the top of the chair. You can also use a wall, which is really nice. We hinge at the hips as I draw my chest forward, and I can bring my hands to the chair back. So you pause here if that's the edge of your stretch, breathing into that, keeping a nice long spine, shoulders rolled back. If I feel like I could go a little farther, I'm taking my hands down the sides of the chair. Depends on the shape of your chair as well. And then you can hold here and breathe into this. Now I'll demonstrate. Just bringing, basically it's just giving us a little bit more space if we're a little bit more flexible. So same idea here, I'm facing the chair, hands on the chair seat. I take my toes or the top of my foot under the chair, step my left foot back, and then all those same actions. I roll my right hip back, left hip forward, press through that right big toe mound. And now I really think about shoulders back, nice long spine, chest is open to the back of the chair seat. And then you can pause here, the edge of your stretch. You're also keeping that back heel down. And then as the body opens, I can start to lower the chest towards the chair. Maybe as you come closer, I can bring my palms on the chair. But you want to try to avoid rounding the spine and dropping the head just to get farther down or feel like we are. Keep the chest and the spine nice and long and open, and we'll hold there and breathe. And of course, we'll do the other side. So that's the option using the chair, which I find really nice, especially if the legs are tight, to give you time to hold into the pose. All right, let's demonstrate with the blocks. So we bring the blocks top of the mat, start with a high height, and I'll step between the blocks. And I like to do this standing, maybe starting like we would do coming into Warrior One. Hands on the hips, soften my knees. I step my left foot straight back. Make sure your legs are parallel and they're in their own lane, so you're not walking a tightrope. That back heel is a little bit, or the back foot's a little bit turned out. Once again, I'm trying to keep my hips nice and parallel to the front of that mat, front of our mat. So I think about rolling that right hip back, left hip forward, press down through that right big toe mound. Now I'm going to keep my hands on the hips, hinge at my hips, and draw my chest forward as I keep my spine nice and long. And when I can reach, I can either bring my hands to the top of the thigh. Try not to press on your knee. We don't want to press that knee back. Or hands on the shins, or eventually hands on the blocks. Once I get here, you can see your hips might automatically want to roll forward. You can use your thumb mount in that hip crease to roll the hips back. And then we'll pause here, shoulders rolling back, and we'll breathe into that. Okay, grab the props that you would like, block or chair, and let's get started together. So, either standing in front of your chair, with the chair back or the seat, or between your blocks. If you're using the chair seat, come down to your tabletop. Otherwise, hands on hips, let's step your left foot back, keeping that right foot forward. Now realign, make sure the legs are in their feet are in their own lane. Feet are hip distance apart. That left foot is slightly turned out. And then think about your hips, they might be a little turned to the left. Can you roll that right hip back, left hip forward? Try not to hyperextend that right leg, so have a little softness in the knee, pressing through the right big toe mound. When you're ready, bend at your hip creases and draw the chest forward. So either your hands are on your chair back or your chair seat, maybe on the top of your thigh. Pause when stretch action happens and you feel like you want to stop. And then as the body opens, it can get a little bit lower. Hands coming either to the shin or the top of the blocks. And the blocks are in line with your shoulders, just so we're not reaching wide or too narrow. Make it nice and supportive. Now, check in and notice both feet nice and evenly grounded, pressing through the big toe mound, baby toe mound, center of the heel of both feet. And then think of that right hip rolling back, left hip rolling forward. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the gaze either slightly downward towards the top edge of your mat or the backs of the seat of your chair. And breathe into this. As the body releases, maybe you get a little lower. If you're using the chair seat, you might be able to bring the forearms or elbows onto the chair seat. If you're using blocks, you might be able to lower your blocks. Some of you might be able to put your fingertips on the floor, but again, remember, try to keep your spine nice and long, gazing out over that right big toe if you're using your blocks. Let's take about 4 more breaths here. It's really nice to hold these poses. Feel that left heel gently grounding down, right hip rolling back, keeping the chest open and your spine nice and long. And 2 more nice full breaths. So we hold in this intense stretch pose. Now, to come out of it, if you're using the blocks, slightly bend your right knee. Step that left foot forward into a forward fold. You can let the chest float forward. Crown of the head releasing towards the floor. Take a nice big breath there. Exhale it out. And let's round to rise. So rounding the spine, let your head be the last to come on up, all the way up to standing, and then roll the shoulders back. Maybe a couple shoulder circles there. And then just check in and notice how that right leg feels, maybe in relation to the left. And let's set up again, either behind your chair or in front of the chair seat or between your blocks. If you're using the chair seat, hands on the chair seat, soften the knees. Let's all step our left foot straight back. Right foot straight back. Doing the opposite side. We'll make sure we balance out the body. So the right foot's just slightly turned out. Turn the hips, rotate, drawing that left hip back, right hip forward so they're parallel to the front of your mat or chair seat. Now come to that left leg. Notice if we're pressing that left knee back, hyperextending. Press through your left big toe mound. Have a softness in that left knee. And then when you're ready, start to fold at your hip creases, lead with the chest. Pause when you feel that stretch action happening and your body wants to stop. Generally what we want to do is then we just round our spine and we reach. Instead, pause and hold there. Hands can come to the top of the thigh or the chair seat. When you're ready, the body starts to open. You can fold a little forward. Hands to the blocks on the high height to start. Set up wherever you're feeling that nice stretch and then realign everything. Notice the left hip might have slipped forward. Roll it back. Right hip forward. Press through the left big toe mound. Breathe nice extended breaths, extending your exhales. Feeling as the body starts to release and let go. If you're using the chair seat, maybe you can bring your forearms or elbows onto the chair seat. You can lower the blocks. And again, pausing there, breathing into that. Not forcing the stretch. Let it happen as we take a few more nice extended breaths. As we let the exhales out a little longer than the inhale, that signals the body to turn off the fight or flight mode. Turn on our rest and digest, and turns off all that gripping and holding, protecting the body. Allow us to ease into the stretch. 2 more nice full breaths. And then when you're ready, we'll softly bend that forward knee, left knee, step your right foot forward. Find your forward fold, whether you're at the chair seat or blocks. Release the arms. Take a little circle of the nose, like you're trying to draw the little letter O on your legs or the wall behind you, and then change direction. And then we'll round to rise, rounding the spine, arms heavy, head heavy. Rise on up. Head is the last to come up. And then let's take a couple shoulder circles. Easy for me to say. All right. Hope you enjoyed the intense stretch pose today. Practice, take it easy, use your props. Remember, props are our friends. And I hope you enjoyed that. Love your feedback. Let's close out our one pose practice today, taking a nice inhale as you draw the palms overhead. Exhaling, palms together and down. Thank you for joining. I'll see you tomorrow.